This is not a hypothetical. In early July 2026, security researchers at CISDIG published a full technical breakdown of something the industry has been quietly worried about since agentic AI took off. An AI agent that ran an entire ransomware attack, start to finish, with no human directing each individual step. Not a human using AI to help write a phishing email. Not a human using AI to help write malware. An AI agent that did reconnaissance, stole credentials, moved across a network, escalated its own privileges, stayed persistent, encrypted a real database, destroyed data, and wrote the ransom note on its own. Researchers are calling it JADEPUFFER. And before you close this tab in a panic, or dismiss it as clickbait, let us actually go through what it did, what it means, and whether this changes anything about how you should be thinking about AI agents. Signal or noise. Starting now, let us walk through the actual attack chain, because the details matter more than the headline. According to CISDIG's threat research team, the attacker set up an autonomous agent, gave it a broad objective: get into this network and extract value, and then largely stepped back. From there, the agent handled reconnaissance itself, scanning for entry points and weaknesses. It harvested credentials on its own. It moved laterally across the network, hopping from one compromised system to the next. It escalated its own privileges, meaning it worked out how to grant itself higher levels of access than it started with. It established persistence, so it could survive a reboot or a partial cleanup attempt. And at the end, it encrypted a real production database, destroyed backup data, and generated a ransom note, all without a human operator directing each individual step along the way. Every one of those stages, on its own, is something security teams have dealt with for years. What is new is that a single agent chained all of them together autonomously, adapting its approach at each stage based on what it found. The exact same loop: plan, act, check, adjust. That makes agentic AI useful for legitimate work. The technology is not choosing sides. It is just very good at completing multi-step tasks. And this was a multi-step task. Here is the distinction that actually matters. Because AI has been involved in cybercrime for a while now. And it is worth being precise about what changed. Before this, the common pattern was a human attacker using an AI tool as an assistant. Write me a convincing phishing email. Help me debug this exploit script. Summarize this stolen data. A human was still making every decision about what to do next. The AI was just making each individual step faster. JADEPUFFER represents a shift from AI as an assistant to AI as the operator. The human set a goal and a boundary, and the agent worked out the entire path to that goal on its own, including decisions that normally require judgment: which systems to target, when to escalate, how to stay hidden, when to pull the trigger on encryption. That is the exact same capability jump we have spent time on this channel calling the most important AI story of 2026. Tools, memory, and a feedback loop, letting an AI complete a task instead of just answering a question. It turns out that capability jump is genuinely dual use. The same three ingredients that let an agent book your flights and clean your inbox also let it run a ransomware attack, if that is the goal someone points it at. Now, the honest calibration. Because panic is not useful and neither is dismissal. For an individual using AI tools for legitimate work, your day-to-day risk from this specific attack is close to zero. JADEPUFFER targeted enterprise infrastructure with a specific objective: It is not a mass market threat aimed at regular users. But here is what should actually concern you. And it is not this one incident. It is the trend line. If one attacker built a working autonomous ransomware agent this early, using the same publicly available agentic techniques every legitimate developer is also learning right now, that capability does not stay rare. The tools and techniques for building capable agents are becoming more accessible every month. Which means the tools for misusing them are becoming more accessible too. The practical takeaway is not fear. It is the same rule this channel has repeated from the start. Any agent with real permissions, real credentials, real ability to act on systems that matter, needs a human checkpoint before anything irreversible happens. Sending money, deleting data, encrypting a database. Those are exactly the category of actions where autonomous, unsupervised agents are the wrong design choice. Whether you are the one deploying the agent or the one defending against someone else's. If you are building or deploying AI agents yourself, even for completely legitimate purposes, this incident is a genuinely useful case study, not just a scary headline. It is a live example of why the security industry has been pushing for agent permission boundaries. Meaning an agent should only ever have access to exactly what it needs for its specific task. Nothing broader. It is why action logging matters. So every step an agent takes is traceable after the fact. And it is why irreversible actions, financial transfers, data deletion, production changes, should require a human in the loop. Not because agents are untrustworthy by nature, but because a single compromised or misdirected agent with excessive permissions can now execute an entire multi-stage attack chain without anyone noticing until the damage is done. The organizations that get hurt by this trend will not be the ones using agentic AI. They will be the ones who gave an agent broad, unmonitored access and assumed that was fine because nothing had gone wrong yet. Quick recap. JADEPUFFER was a fully autonomous AI agent that ran an entire ransomware attack. From reconnaissance to ransom note. With no human directing each individual step. What is new is not that AI touched a cyber attack. It is that an agent operated the whole chain on its own. Your personal risk from this specific incident is low. But the trend it represents, agentic capability becoming both more powerful and more accessible, is worth taking seriously. So, signal or noise? This is signal. And it is one of the more important signals this year. Not because you should be scared of AI agents, but because it is proof that the exact same three ingredients that make agents useful for real work, tools, memory, and a feedback loop, make them just as capable in the wrong hands. Permission boundaries and human checkpoints are not optional extras anymore. Subscribe for AI covered honestly. The useful parts and the uncomfortable parts. Signal from the noise. Every week.